Hi, I'm Doc Ellis, Ellis Clinic, and we're going to talk about federal workers' comp and how fair it is. What? Fair? Every doctor and every lawyer I know said I've done one federal and never do another one. But it is fair, but the trouble is a lot of people, employees, unions, attorneys, supervisors, sometimes even claims examiners, do not know the law. Now, let me just go show you the problem I've seen over the nation. People have to come from all over the United States, Europe, Asia, Middle East, to see some hick doctor in Oklahoma. Now this map is about 4 years old. Today's February 22nd, 2019. From all over the United States, Europe, and Middle East, even Hong Kong, and Alaska, because no one knows how to do federal workers' comp. Now let me take you through a nice little overview of how easy it is to do it and what to do and all the resources we have for you to help you go through this morass of federal workers' comp. Come with me. One of the problems is, well, I've been practicing medicine 50 years, legal medicine 40 years. I'm one of the few professors of legal medicine I know of, and a lot of these plaques and degrees are in legal medicine. And all we doctors learned in medical school about legal medicine is that lawyers don't go to heaven. Now that's true, but there's more to it, and there's just not a lot of people and doctors and lawyers that and people that understand federal workers' comp. Now let me go sit down and show you some resources we have and give you an overview of federal workers' comp. Now on the Ellis Clinic website, I've got all these handouts, so you don't have to remember them all. That'll walk you through. Now in federal workers' comp, it's a very, very fair law, but no one knows it. Okay, it's not beyond a reasonable shadow of doubt criminal law. In other words, there was a person who was running a Bronco and went and under criminal law cannot be convicted, but under civil law, the family could take him to court and take money. State workers' comp's about here. VA is very fair, is down here. Now, federal workers' comp is way down here as far as criteria needed to accept a claim. If it's aggravated or contributed to, or if it actually caused, then it's work-related, and there's no apportionment. In other words, if you hurt your knee in basketball in high school and had surgery, and then you worked for a state workers' comp company and had another surgery and you had a 20% your knee, under federal workers' comp you get the whole 20%. Under state workers' comp you just get 10. Anyway, so now, the way we'll start off, one of these handouts that are all on my website. The first one I would recommend, you pull up the checklist federal workers' comp and just go down the bouncing ball and do that. Now, there are three types of claims in federal workers' comp. An acute injury, happens in 24 hours, you strain your back, hurt your knee, fall down. That's a Form CA1, acute injury. Then there's the cumulative trauma, like carpal tunnel, frequent many strains of the back, exposure to chemicals. That's a Form CA2. Now, CA1, you fill out the form. I will show you the form in a second, and you give it to your supervisor. The CA2, there's two criteria. You provide an employee statement of everything that happened, then you get a doctor's report, and you send it directly to the federal government, the Department of Labor, which is the Office of Workers' Comp Programs, OWCP. You'll hear me say OWCP. They're the people that administrate it. They have claims examiners that take the paperwork, look at it, and accept it or deny it, and they're kind of the judge and jury. All right? Now, you have the right, the sole right to pick your doctor. A lot of those people on that map, I'm the treating doctor. Now what I do is I fill out the forms on work restrictions, to return to work, the occupational legal medicine matters. And certainly I'm not going to do well, that's not true. There are people that have to come from over the United States to have surgery in Oklahoma because they can't find a doctor in their state. But I would send you, I would get tests and stuff, then I would send you an orthopedic surgeon if you need a shoulder surgery or whatever. All right. But hopefully you can find a doctor closer to you. Okay. Now, and they pay for travel. If they pay up to 100 miles. If it's over 100 miles, you have to ask for permission for the travel for. Now, before, like for instance, if this claim is accepted, before you even came to see a doctor, such as Ellis Clinic, we would get pre-approval permission for you to be seen, so it shows that it should be paid. Okay. So, let's talk about the forms. Paperwork. Okay. Form CA1, there's a great little handout on Ellis Clinic. Tells you what to fit into boxes. He even goes further and even tells you what to put in each box. Now, what you need to remember on acute injury, write down everything. You fall down, hit your elbow, strain your back. Your elbow doesn't hurt anymore. Put it down. Hopefully it never flares up again, but if it does, you've got it covered. It's real hard to go back in time and get a body part accepted. It's not impossible, it's just harder. So put it down, even if it got better. A Form CA2, this is the community trauma like carpal tunnel. Okay, here's another form, what to do, and has all the different, what you actually put in the box. Okay, and the key is you have an employee statement, and it tells you what to do. You would Google Form CA2, and it'll tell you what to do. It will tell you that you need an employee statement. You talk about how you were when you went to work for the agency, anything happened in the past, like you had the football knee or basketball knee surgery, and then what happened, and put down everything. Get in the mindset of a claims examiner. They're sitting there at one screen at a time. They've got all this paperwork, and it's not out in front of them. It's just screens, and I don't know how they're able to do this. And then they've got to make a decision on whether to accept this claim. It's very difficult, because if they accept your claim, it comes out of your employer's budget, not out of OWCP's budget. Okay? So they have a higher duty. So sometimes there'll be a lot of denials on CA2s, and you look at it and say, well, what they're really asking for, give us more information. And that means medical information. Okay, then a CA2A, which you hardly ever use, that's say your back hurt and you've retired and later it flares up again, that's a recurrence. Okay, sometimes if it's during work, it's easier to file a new claim, and you may have 3 or 4 claims on the same body part like a back. Sometimes that's easier to get each new claim accepted if it was an acute injury. Okay? Then we have another form called a Form CA7. Again, we have all the stuff. This is if you're going to try to buy your leave, you're getting a schedule order and impairment rating. You check the little box, and of course you fill in your name and address and send it in. And that's interesting. When you file a Form CA1 and a CA2, the supervisor is supposed to fill that out and get it to the federal government within 10 days. Well, a lot of people throw it and let it sit on a desk. That's illegal. They can get in trouble. So don't get your supervisor in trouble. When I do reports, I always put the supervisor's duty so they'll know that. And if you have an impairment rating, which is called a scheduled award, that has to be filled out by the supervisor and sent forward within 5 days. Okay. So now, some other forms, other handouts are available. You can get, the federal government can assign a nurse case manager. Be very, very careful. Okay. Now, I like nurse case managers because I can say I need an MRI. They can authorize the same day. It takes me 3 days. Okay. And so I work with a nurse case manager because the hard thing about federal workers' comp, unlike state workers' comp, in state workers' comp, the employer can talk to me, call me and say, hey, doc, we've got this. What about this? What about that? The employer cannot talk to me. He can send me one notice, one phone call, we're authorizing treatment, then he cannot contact me again. He has to go through the claims examiner. Okay? But even then, I'll get letters from agencies, we want these said we want a narrative report. You don't get that, employer. You don't get to know if someone's had hysterectomy. You don't get my report. You're really not even supposed to have the diagnosis. That's medical privacy. You just need to know what the restrictions are. And then you have to provide a position for those restrictions or put them on workers' comp, which is temporary total disability, where if you're married, you get 75% of your pay, and if you're single, you get 67% of your pay. So nurse case manager, then the supervisor delaying claims like we're talking about, what to do about it. We don't want to take them to court or anything, but we sure want them to follow the law. Okay, and then we have video surveillance. It's just amazing to me the amount of my government spends on videoing patients and everything. And because let me tell you something, folks, video doesn't tell you you got back pain. Video doesn't tell you have a nerve down your leg. A video is actually the Employees Compensation Appeal Board. Oh, that's okay, we'll cut it out. The Employee Compensation Appeal Board, which is the Supreme Court of Federal Workers' Comp, said videos are worthless. And yet, post office especially, they'll video people and And then doctors will see a video or somebody with a badge and they'll panic and say something stupid like they're faking or they're, oh, come on. Come on. I've been to federal court and beaten up the Office Inspector General so many times I can't even count them. Okay, then sometimes your hospital will bill you for the surgery. That's illegal. And that's information for unlawful collection of medical treatment. When your supervisor wants to know all your medical information, you can't have that. Here's something you can send them. Okay. So that's basically federal workers' comp. Now, one other thing in federal workers' comp, if you can't do the job for which you were hired, you can have federal employment retirement. Now that's different than Social Security. For instance, I had a guy that had a fused neck. He's a crane operator. Well, he can't do that anymore. So he can't do the job for which he's hired, and so he's placed on FERS, Office Personnel Management. This is not Department of Labor. Office Personnel Management, FERS, and he's getting 60% of his pay the first year and 40% of his pay following that, and he can make up to 80% of his pay, and that's different than Social Security. You also apply for Social Security. If you get it, then that's fine. If not, FERS takes over. All right. So there's information on FERS, and also a lot of federal employees are veterans. Okay, and if I get mad about OWCP, I get livid on VA. I'm a Vietnam veteran, and I see the VA screwing vets. There's just no other word to say for it. Now, some of the examiners are doing a fair, honest job, but most of the examiners are not trained in the VA criteria. And so I have people come from all of the United States and Europe and Asia just to get a VA exam, which is not a hard exam. But the thing is, federal workers' comp, VA disability, it's all medical. If he's got to be a DO or an MD, and it's all medical. It's not supervisors' opinions. It's not the Department of Labor's Office Inspector General opinions. It's doctors' opinions. Right. And now it's very, very important who you pick to be your doctor. Make sure they're comfortable doing federal workers' comp, know how to bill it, know how to do it, know how to fill out the paperwork. Because there's lots of intricacies that you have to know to be able to do that. But they can always refer you to somebody to do the paperwork, which we doctors call scut work. So don't be afraid of federal workers' comp. Don't be intimidated. Just get some people that can help you. And if you get hurt on the job, you have to file. It's the law. If you're a Christian or religious and you want to obey the government, that's the law. You're not supposed to file that stuff on health insurance. You got hurt on the job. So we're available with all these handouts, and you can call and ask questions, and if we can help, we love to help. God bless you all.